and it let out this blood-curdling, guttural scream.
On the side of the road, he sees a deer carcass and something eating on it, which he thought was a bear. And as the lights hit it, it stood up. And, like, this gives me chills talking about it. He said it stood up and it had the face of a man.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Bigfoots of America podcast show. I'm your host, Bryan Sawyer, coming at you. This is episode 45. Pretty cool. We're getting up there. We're getting close to episode 50. But really, the numbers are not a game here. You know, we're not trying to get all these big numbers. We're going to take it as we go because I do prefer quality over quantity. And with that said, oh my goodness, our next guest, his name is Ed Whelan, and he approached us, me and the NCI team, while we were at the South Carolina Bigfoot Festival a few weeks back. That's in Westminster, South Carolina, and Ed Whelan is from South Carolina, and he approached us and started telling us about his Sasquatch encounter. Now, what's very interesting about Ed's story is, you know, a lot of times when I interview eyewitnesses and we go out in the field or we just meet people, you know, I really get a biological sense that, okay, this was, you know, leaning on the biological side of things, biological creature. But with Ed, I felt like there was something more. Now, everybody at home has a right to have their own opinion about Sasquatch, to think whether these are biological creatures, if these are aliens, or if they are something in between with interdimensional qualities. But I know Ed's got some great thoughts about this, man, especially after his encounters. And Ed Whelan is the kind of guy you want to talk to increase your knowledge, to increase your understanding about Sasquatch, or at least this particular tribe of Sasquatch. So let's go ahead and bring Ed in right now.
Hello,
Hey, Ed, you
Brian.
there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Okay,
Good to
great,
see you.
great. Okay.
Awesome. Well, first of all, Ed, you know, you heard my prelude, you heard my intro. First of all, I want to thank you personally for coming up to us, man. You had recognized me, approached me, and then, like I was telling the folks at home, I got a different sense off of your Sasquatch and how it appeared to you and how it basically let you know it was there. So with all that said, we're going to jump right into it. And
Okay.
Ed, you are welcome to go back as far as your childhood. Tell us about any other paranormal type interactions or experiences you may have. I know the folks at home, we really like to know about the person who had the Sasquatch encounter, because to me, I always say this, there are no Bigfoot sightings without the eyewitnesses. So with that said, you know, how'd you get interested in this whole Sasquatch subject, the whole paranormal subject, and then how it led up to your current encounter and what you've been doing since then? So go ahead.
Okay. Uh, I'll just tell you straight out, like when I heard about Bigfoot, the first time I ever heard about Bigfoot, I thought it was something that was out west, up in Oregon or Northern California or something. And there was something going on up there. I'm not saying I didn't believe in it. I just didn't get it. It was just something far away. And so uh, being out in the woods and things like that, I was more or less afraid of bears or something like that, and never thought that I'd be able to see something that was that real or whatever. But what happened is I do a lot of hiking, and I look for like Native American rock structures, and I look for everything from tie down trees to different things, and I look for the alignments, solar alignments. I look for the mounds, and I look for um, petroglyphs, a bunch of different things. But on my way to where I usually camp by myself. I hike by myself. I'm in the woods by myself. But on the way over to Georgia, Track Rock area where I usually go and camp, I stopped off at Expedition Bigfoot at the museum there. And I didn't see Dave at that time. The people there were real nice, and I was looking all through there, and I was really into it. And then I saw the map with just the locations in Georgia where they're being spotted, and I was blown away. I mean, there was like it had to be 100 spottings. It was crazy. So, and some of them were in places I was going to. So then I started thinking about that maybe I should find out about this. And so, I did my camping or whatever, and then for the heck of it, in my favorite hiking spot that's by my house, and I find a lot of things there, a lot of petroglyphs, a lot of other things. I put some apples in some trees, and I never went back to see if they would still be there. I put them up high, so I figured if there was something in the woods I'm going to, maybe it'll show up. And so, and then there was a Bigfoot seminar, or whatever, in Gatlinburg last year, and that Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So I went to that. And then I learned a whole bunch more. And it was crazy. I couldn't believe how many people were there, how many people had been seeing things. And this is not just some, little thing and so I found out then Dave Politis was there, and he did a talk on the DNA and how they're probably hybrids. And I was like, are you kidding me? So, um, and there was a bunch of other people I talked to there, and I got a lot of information. And so then when I went back, I had a whole new mindset now, and I'm really starting to believe that this stuff is real, man. So um, I I actually went out, and I'll just tell you the story. I started walking my normal trail. It's the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. That's like Spartanburg County. I live in Greenville County. And so it's a place I always go. I know it like the back of my hand. So I walked up the Fire Break Trail that goes up. I didn't go on the main trail. I went because I wanted to make a loop, go all the way up to the top and come back down. And so I walked it out. Everything was normal. I went all through the woods and everything. And then I was on my way back to the parking lot. I got about halfway back, a little bit more. And all of a sudden, I get to a place, and there's a hill there, and there's a shelter up there. I've explored that whole area up there, and there's a brook that comes down, and I hear a loud rustling noise, like leaves moving, like really loud. And so I'm looking, there's no wind moving or anything. So I said, there's got to be two, three, four people in the woods, and they're coming down off the trail. So I heard all this noise, and I'm not seeing nothing, man. And then there was a tree there with some bushes around it that was probably, I measured it later because I went out there, it was like 54 feet away from me. All of a sudden, it's there. I don't know if it came out from the tree, but its back was to me, which was strange. It was just there. And so I got a picture. I don't know if you could see this.
Oh yeah, please hold it up.
Can you see that?
Yeah,
Like,
we can see that.
okay,
That's great.
so it it looked like a person with a blanket over its head. And it wasn't really moving, but the thing was that the hair coming off the back of the head, it had like these silver lines going across, like it was weaved into the hair. And so it had no neck, and it was huge. I mean, it was wide as a wide door, and it straight down to the bushes. I didn't see its legs because of these bushes here. And so it just stood there and there was a tree next to it. So then it moved to the left of that tree. And when it did, it came back again. Every time it got up to the left of that tree, you could just see parts of it moving or whatever. Then it came back, man, and it was looked gray now. And I don't know why it looked grayer than what it was. And I couldn't see a face, which was strange. It was like it was blurred out. And it looked like I got another picture here. When it looked to the side, it had a round head. There's no ears, no eyes, nose. I couldn't see anything. It had these real long arms, real long arms. So it moved back to the other side of the tree. I mean, this is I don't know how long it was doing this, but it was going back and forth. Then I saw its arms going up and down like this. So I'm like, what? I mean, way over its head. These arms were long, man. And so I thought it was like marching. Then it stopped and it was moving around, and then it did it again. And then uh, after it was doing that, it went back to the other side of the tree. The whole time I heard no noise. He's moving like crazy. I heard no noise at all. So he went back to that side of the tree where I first saw him, and you see it moving around. So now I see it moving around, and I'm still looking at this face, and there's no face, man. It makes no sense. And so then it went back to the other side of the tree, and it started moving around, and then it all of a sudden it really was like it went far enough out of the bushes and the trees so I could really see it. Like I could really see the arm, the hair coming down. I could see the head, and I'm like, I know that's nothing I ever saw before. I know that's no bear. I don't know what that is. And then fear came on me because I knew everything that I could think of to try to make it be something else. Nothing was working. It was just, so I was just staring at it. And then all of a sudden, it was like looking this way. And then it just like it knew that I was looking at her. I was afraid. It went like this, right at me, like that, with its head, like looked at me. And then I took off. So I ran down these stairs, and I thought it was going to chase me. So I went down there, but I didn't hear anything. And then I turned around and I didn't see it anymore, and it got quiet. So I walked back there to look like, did I really see this thing? And I walked further and further up. And when started getting closer to that original spot, I heard these birds. Like, what the heck is this? Like angry birds, one in front of me and one on either side of me. So there was three of them. And I could see no bushes moving, nothing. These birds were like in there yelling and stuff like that. And then little by little, they stopped. And then that was it. So I got out of there. And that was the first day. So the next day, I'm like, I got to go and see if there's tracks or hair or whatever to see if there's any kind of evidence. So I went and I was taking videos. I took the video walking up into it, and then I found like a some a big thing of scat that was there, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna have to tell somebody now because how about this is like this might be important what I saw, and if this thing did this, you know, I needed to because I had plastic with me in case I found hair or something, I could put it in the bag. So I grabbed the poop. I took a whole video of it. I put it in there to show that I didn't touch it and all that kind of stuff. And I looked. I couldn't find any footprints. I did find broken branches though around there. No footprints. And so when I went back home, I thought of this Expedition Bigfoot place. So I called them up and I talked. That's when I talked to Dave, and that guy's the nicest guy. If you ever want to talk to somebody and you want to, he'll listen to you. He's heard it all, man. He's heard all kinds of stuff. So he told me about it, and I told him about the poop that I had, and he goes, don't even bother because it's going to be a whole complex thing, and you're probably not going to be able to do anything with it. So I got rid of that idea. And then he gave me a contact for BFRO, I think it is BFRO. So I contacted him. That guy was really nice, and I talked with him, and he told me a bunch of stuff. And so he went out there and inspected and I told him because I had everything marked where everything was at and everything else. And so he went out there and he said he thinks I did see something out there because then he told me that there was two other sightings around in that area, and they saw a gray hairy um, creature, whatever, there. And so this continued that what did I do? I went back there one time with my wife, and we measured the distance. I had one of those lasers, and it tells you how many feet the tree was from me. It was up on a
Right,
hill, like
rangefinder.
rangefinder. And I had one of those noodle things you go swimming with, because it was a fluorescent color. I was standing in the bushes where the tree was, and I held that thing up, and I told her to take pictures so I could look at how high up that was and all that. And so when we came back with the pictures, I figured had to be 8 feet tall. It had to be.
Okay.
And the thing is, that's by the tree. But him walking back, it didn't, even though it was going uphill, it was like straight. It wasn't just straight back. It was down and then up, like, you know what I mean? So it was big, whatever this thing was. So that kind of
Wow.
scared me. And then so I don't know if it was a day or two later, I said, you know what, I'm going to try to throw up a game camera up there just for the heck of it. So I went out there. I said, I don't want it, I wanted to go after 5 o'clock, because that's when I went out there that other time. There was, it was around 5 o'clock when I went out, and there was like really no one in the lot, and I was out to that place to myself. So I started going up the fire break road, and then I'm going to a place um, where later on I found out that there's something going on there, and then I started hearing the fake owl sounds, man. Like
Oh yeah.
like you could hear them like way down there, and there was no one in the lot. So and then I heard some further up, and then I heard some over further up. There was three different spots. You can hear the owl. I knew it sounded like a greyhound owl or whatever, but there was three different spots. It was still light out. It wasn't. So the trail has another section that'll go in half and go right to that spot that I first saw the whatever it was. So and I had the trail camera in my pack, and so all of a sudden I didn't hear the owl sounds anymore as soon as I crossed over and got on that trail. So then I'm walking up that trail. I drew another picture. I was
I
going
love
up
your
the
pictures, by
trail.
the way. I
Okay.
love your pictures, man.
Okay. So I don't know if you can see this. This is me walking up. There's two hills on either side, and the trees come around like this.
Okay.
And so I'm walking up. There's a stream coming down, and where I want to go is up over here. It's not that far away. I got pretty close, and then all of a sudden I hear the lead thing going again. But this time it's on both sides, over here and here. No wind, no nothing, man. And then all of a sudden I hear things going through the trees from both sides. And they're it looked like, I don't know if they were little rocks or whatever, but then I saw a rock land right behind me. And then the branch broke loose from, I guess, one of the rocks hit a small branch, and that came down too, right behind me. So now I'm like saying, there's something, they surrounded me or whatever, there's something there. So I just stopped, and it was quiet. And I said, look, if you don't want me to hear, I kept thinking they knew I had the camera. That's the only thing
Okay.
that I was thinking, you know what I mean? And so I said, look, I mean you no harm. If you want me to leave, I'll leave. And so I'm leaving now and whatever. And I just kept talking to whatever it was the whole way back to my car. I just went back to the car. And I don't think I've been back there since that on that trail. But I did go back another time. Um, I went in there and I started searching that woods on the fire break trail. And I could swear sometimes I could see something go by fast through the trees. Like I could see a motion, like out of the corner of my eye. So I know something moved over there. So I started taking videos. I went down there, and then I just found this video on my phone. I forgot about I have a chip that I forgot about. And I remember that I was there before this, that another time that I went in there, and I put an apple and a can of sardines by this rock I found it's a flat rock. I got another picture. It was a flat rock, and I put
Okay.
an apple and a little can of sardines, big tree. It's a pretty big, I say it's 3 feet by 3 feet maybe, or but it's real flat rock. And the trail
Okay.
comes up this way. Go ahead. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, no, I can see. I love your
Okay.
pictures, man.
But anyway, so the tree's there, and then all of us, so I had put an apple there, and then I went up further, and I put another apple on a tree, and I made a Y stick so that I remember what tree I put it in the
Yeah.
Y up there, and it was up as high as I could reach. And then this is a couple things that I saw this video after I just watched it again, that I was scared, I was shaky, but I remember that my phone, what I thought was all the way charged, went like dead almost. It was only like 10 on it. And I'm like, what the heck? And then my camera, I have to take a camera with me too.
Okay.
And that started acting kind of strange. And I took some videos, and I got one video. You can hear my camera making all these noises because I could hear another bird sound in there. It was just it was a weird kind of bird sound. And so I knew I was kind of scared. And there's a place up there that I took the video of. There's a trail of quartz, and I've ever since I've been hiking up there. If you go there, people take the quartz, I think, or whatever, because some days it's after a couple days or couple months, people take it, and then somebody keeps putting quartz there. So there's all quartz rocks, and it's lined to the equinox. I know that because I checked it out. So anyway, this other time, this is the last time I was there. I went up there, and when I got to the place, there was no one in the lot, and there was a whole bunch of crows right there on the ground. Though they weren't in the air, and they weren't going in the air. They were right as you pull in. A lot of them were right there. So I went in, and then I went up that trail, and then I got to that section where I put the stuff at, and so I went in there, and then it just was weird in there, and I could hear something in the bushes or whatever. And I went to that spot, and I looked, and the can of sardines was gone. The apple was gone. And then all of a sudden, two ravens flew over my head, making all kinds of racket. So I'm thinking, okay, the
Okay.
crows are freaking out because of the ravens or whatever. But then I started hearing other stuff. And then I heard a crow sound. It sounded like it was like maybe 15, 20 feet away in the bushes. And I'm like, what the heck is that? Why? How does a crow over there? So I made a noise every time. Whatever I did, like if I just did like a coo sound, it did the exact same back thing to me. So I'm thinking there's a person in there or something. And then all of a sudden, I heard three birds, and they were making like a bird sound I've never heard before. And later on, when I took that video back home, it sounded like it was saying, help me, help me. Three different spots, man. So I'm like, is someone really goofing on me? So I went right up to those bushes and went up in there, and there's nothing in there. No bird flew away, nothing. So then I
Interesting.
started, I walked up to that tree again, okay? And the Y was there. The Y stick was there, and the apple was there. But now in that tree coming off of this was a stick, like a stick. The stick was going right in. This was 6 feet long, man. It was stuck in there like it was something put it there to point, like I see that apple. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
So So that was the next thing. Then the next thing I told you about this is I was going up, and I was going up the in the last area that I was at, and that something was flying around me.
Okay.
It was following me. It was maybe 10 feet away, and it was kept flying around me. And it looked like I fly fish. It almost looked like a mayfly. It was probably about that big. I don't know if you can see that part right there. I could see
Yep.
like it had wings, but I couldn't. It was like blurry, just like the other thing. And then there was one
Okay.
section that was white. I don't know what that was. It was like a white section, and it had the wings. And I could not get a. I take a picture, and it would not come out. None of the pictures. So I did a video. When I did the video, it was flying around. I got it flying all over the place. It was pretty long. And then when I got back home, when I looked at that video, it was a blue orb. It was not, it didn't look like any what I saw. It was like a small blue orb, and it was flying all over the place. So anyway, when I got, and I was kind of creeped out of that. And but I went up to that quartz area again where that path of quartz is, and I looked, and there's an X there now. I see the X right at the end
Okay.
there. I got a picture of the X.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the quartz. Here's the quartz trail here. There's all quartz here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yep. Yep. And
And
for the
the
folks at home, I just want to chime in for a
okay,
minute,
yeah,
Ed. The purpose of quartz, it's an electrical insulator, and we believe, and you can elaborate more on this, Ed. I'm still learning, but we believe that it could attribute to the possibility of the presence of a portal. Is that what we're talking about? Is that what you're thinking?
yeah. I believe that could be true. Yeah,
Yeah, it's an electrical insulator, and then the little thing flying could have been, me, I'm the fair. I almost said I'm the fairy guy, but I had my fairy encounter. So I want to know what type of creatures, along with Sasquatch, you
yeah.
might be
Right,
seeing out there. If there's a
right.
portal opening up and there's interdimensional creatures coming through, there might be more than one type of interdimensional creature coming through. So I want to rewind for a second. First
Okay.
of all, let's establish you had the sighting of the initial individual, but you also feel that there were multiple individuals there. Is that correct?
Uh, I can't. I actually I thought possibly because the one that I first saw, that thing was huge, seemed bigger than the gray one I was seeing. You know what I mean? So I
Okay,
don't know if there was another one there. There could have been something else going on there that you know what I mean. I couldn't see because of the bushes. That
right.
that I thought of afterwards. But the three bird thing, I don't know what the heck that was, man. That was like, do they control the birds? Like, how can they,
Well,
was it
that's
invisible or something? I don't know.
Yeah, that's Native American folklore, Ed, about Sasquatch being able to see through the eyes of eagles, ravens, hawks. Now, ravens and crows, they are very intelligent. So there is a narrative out there that the Native Americans had spoke about, that the Sasquatch are able to see through the eyes of ravens and possibly eagles and hawks. And if that's a Native American folklore, then how did they learn about it? Well, there used to be a relationship there with Sasquatch, and at some point in the game, they had a big falling out. Talking about that falling out, I've been thinking it's funny because I'm always thinking about Sasquatch, the relationship of humans and Sasquatch. Where did it go awry? Well, let's talk about that for a second. If the Europeans, the Spanish and the Europeans came over, and they brought their diseases with them, their sicknesses with them. Then, I mean, the Europeans actually inadvertently killed a bunch of Native Americans. So if these Sasquatch are hybrids at all, and they can contracted any kind of diseases, that could have maybe partially
Oh my
wiped out part of their
gosh.
Yeah, wiped out
Oh
part
my
of their
gosh,
population
yeah.
as well. And then if they're
Wow.
having any kind of falling out with the Native Americans, that would cause a retreat back into the deep forest just to keep away from human beings because you throw in sickness along top with wars and the Europeans coming in and us taking over North America, taking over the land as all the different nationalities poured into the Americas. Then the Sasquatch just wanted to retreat and then keep their distance. I had an experience, and I don't want to get too deep into this because I know it was a personal experience, but I was with Donna Copus, who is a matriarch of the Shawnee tribe down there in southeastern Ohio, of the, I believe, the Wolf and the Raven clan. And I had a moment where we were in Sasquatch territory, and I was being inquisitive in my mind about why isn't their communication between the Sasquatch tribes and the Native American tribes anymore. Now, Donna has had a lot of interaction, so there are some good points to that. But I think the main reason, from let's just say my experience, that the Sasquatch want to be free. They want to
Mm.
stay free. They do
Yeah, yeah.
not want to get involved, number one, in our sicknesses, number
Mm.
one, in our wars and killing, number two, our system of government, they know that they'll be thrown in zoos and, made spectacles of, and they just want to stay free. So, regardless of what you think they may be biologically speaking or interdimensional speaking, I believe that is the core. That they want to be free. They want to keep away from all of our problems, so to speak. So, yeah, I love your story, Ed. And let me tell you something. I would love to figure out if I could come down there in 2026 and get out to that location and have you tell your story again for the cameras. I can bring down a couple of cameras and we can get you on film, not only on this podcast, but also on film for our TV series. And then we'll bring some of the NCI guys as well. If we got to wait till the South Carolina Bigfoot Festival again, we will. But I might want to get out there a little bit sooner, but we'll talk about that in the future. So
Okay.
with all that said, you're from New Jersey, right? You're originally from New Jersey and you
Yes, sir.
retired down there in South
Yes, sir.
Carolina.
Yeah.
When you were younger, did you have any kind of interdimensional or paranormal ghost encounters and or anything like that?
Um, there was one crazy thing. I remember I wrote about it. Drew a picture, gave it to my grandfather. I don't know if I was about 10. I was walking in my living room and I was going to go up the stairs, and our front door, the wooden door, had like three little windows in it. So I could look through the storm door and look up there. And I saw a head, a big head, man. I thought it was like a dinosaur or something because it looked like a big head, but it was like two glowing red eyes, and they weren't close. They were like that. They were further away, And it was just looking in the window, man. And I was like, so I drew pictures of it, and they just thought I was dreaming or something. I don't know. And that's one thing I remember.
Okay,
Um,
that sounds,
yeah,
boy, that sounds very Bigfoot like. The red eyes. Interesting. You said it seemed kind of tall looking through the window.
yeah, because our house is up on a hill, like, and the front steps. And I don't know, unless something was reflecting, but I was looking up like this. You know what I mean? It was looking down at me, like, I didn't see any other. I could see around. It looked like a head. It looked like there was something there, and it was just, I know it wasn't a person. Nobody's got a head that big. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what the heck it was, but
Right.
that was just something weird. I don't know, but
Yeah.
um,
I try not to get too deep with this subject because
yeah,
we
yeah,
can we can only take it in the time frame of our lifespan.
yeah.
But some of the encounters I've had, um, questions of time displacement have come up in my mind. Um, are they able to subvert? Are they able? Because like I have encounters like when I was a kid that can kind of match my encounters nowadays, and I'm like, is that the same entity? Is that the same
Yeah,
creature?
yeah, 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 yeah.
And I do believe Sasquatch are hybrid. So I believe there's a whole plethora, just a whole bunch of, I always tell my story, my encounter with God, how I felt he spoke to me and said, hey, think about insects. Look up how many different types of insects there are. And there's anywhere between 900,000 and 3 million. So I try to apply that to the cryptid and the paranormal world. Sure, there may be some Sasquatch that are, let's say, 90% biological or for a full 100% biological. But then there may be, Matthew Sexton, one of my eyewitnesses, threw something at me that kind of helped jar me a little bit. He's like, hey, I think some of the alphas are not only alphas because they're so big and so strong, but also they may have interdimensional type qualities where they're able to open up portals. They're the ones that open up portals for the clans to go through, their family to go through. So there's so much stuff out there we don't know. We haven't um, put our finger on it. But another one guy I talked to, Greg Ogles, they're right now at the Land Between the Lakes in Kentucky. And Greg Ogles was a recent guest on our show, and he walked up on a portal, Ed. He walked up as if it was, so just take like a flat screen TV, um, shape it like a square doorway, rectangular, and he walked up on it, and he was like able to look in front and in back of it, and there's like this portal. And
Oh, wow. That's
oh
crazy.
yeah. Oh, so
Wow.
there is some
Wow.
crazy stuff out there. And we just want to on this show, I want to be receptive of if you want to come and tell me it's just a biological creature, then I want to believe that from your perspective. But if you want to tell me, hey, these things are interdimensional, I want you to be able to freely speak your mind. So with that said, this is a heavy load I'm about to ask you, and nobody knows the answer because I think it's different for each encounter and each eyewitness. But with your encounter, I've always been intrigued. It almost seemed like yours had some kind of possible cloaking abilities. They kept their hair over their face. I've heard that they don't want you to have eye contact with them. Many of them don't. And they want their faces blurred. I don't know why. Would we be scared to death? Are some of these things so very scary looking that we would be scared to death? Um, or they just, it's about the whole freedom thing. They don't want you to know exactly what they are. What are your thoughts on all of that? So now that you've been digging deep into
Yeah.
this, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think for my own self, the one thing I realized everything that was happening to me was in threes for whatever reason. There's other things at that site that I found. It has to do with threes. Like, I don't know if you can see this picture I took. This is the petroglyph that's on top of that mountain there. It's three holes.
Okay,
It
yeah,
looks like
definitely.
three. It's cute cupules. It's up on top of the hill, and
Okay.
I think that that area might be a burial site, and that's on top. Now, the next hill over had one too, different though, three holes, the same thing. And what were all these
Wow.
threes? Everything I'm finding was threes there, you know. And even if here's I mean, this could be, a lot of times you think people just do this, but this was like this was right by that quartz place too. There was three quartz rocks on top. Why is it? There's always threes. I don't know what that threes is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting. Interesting.
And
In storytelling, we always go, threes always mean, I've got the actor background. So in acting, in script writing, in storytelling, there are always threes. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and that is the formula of completion.
oh
So
wow,
yeah, so that is interesting to me. Um,
yeah,
it could be some kind of who knows, but good stuff. I almost stopped at that Expedition Bigfoot museum. I was coming back after I saw you guys and I was with
Oh
the
yeah,
NC
yeah, yeah,
guys. Yeah, I had to head down to Georgia, meet with some friends, and then I had already passed the exit, and I'm like, wait a minute, and I saw a billboard sign. I'm like, doggone it, I had to be home at a
yeah,
certain time. So next
yeah,
year, 2026, I definitely want to get down there, man. But
yeah,
yeah, what are your
yeah.
thoughts about having me come down and take me to the location?
I'll take you there, man. You could I'll talk to my wife. You guys could stay at my house if you
That
want.
would be great.
You know?
Well, if that's the case, then yeah, me and my girlfriend might be able to come down sooner. Sooner, I might be able to like
Yeah,
come
I'll
down
have to talk
June
to
or
the boss.
July.
Let me talk to the boss because we were gonna go see the grandkids. So I don't know. I gotta work around the grandkids. So. But
No, no
I'll ask.
problem.
That'd be great if it was me. I'd let you come down tonight, man. You do whatever you want.
Yeah,
But
no, no problem. I won't be ready until I probably
yeah,
won't
I
be
know, I know, man.
ready
I know.
until June, anyways, with all the
Yeah,
editing. But no, I'm just thinking, man, I don't know if I want to wait all the way till October. So
I mean, there's other places here too that
awesome.
are crazy that I could show you too. That I got that I think there's some stuff going on that I haven't been back to. I'm kind of scared of going there. Felt like I was getting choked. Some couple one
Oh,
place.
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh. Yeah.
and you heard voices. So, okay, so let's deal with that aspect now. So let's get a little bit more dire, so to speak. A lot of people want to believe these things are big, cuddly teddy bears. And I get that because there have been instances where Bigfoot has brought children home. But then I've heard some terrible stories too about stealing children or stealing people. You heard voices that were mimicking, help me, help me. You felt like you're being choked. Do you think they were messing with you? We know they like to mimic. They do like to scare us at times to try to chase us off. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, when we were with Randy the other day, the woman that's there in the group there,
Yeah,
she was
Tracy
she was
Lynn.
really giving me some good information, man. She had said something that kind of creeped me out. She said she thought that they wanted to eat me or something like that. I was
Okay.
like, oh my gosh, that's really crazy. That trying to get me to come there, you know what I mean? So they would do whatever they were going to do.
Yeah, that's
Um,
the scary side. Let me chime in. That's the scary side of Sasquatch. We think some are more human and maybe friendly, just don't want too much interaction. But then, yes, there are more nefarious ones that may want to eat you that may be cannibals. Go ahead.
okay, so and the ones the things that found followed me home. I don't know. You want me to get into that one, or you not yet, or just
Oh yeah,
throwing it
no,
in?
definitely. I want you to
Okay,
spew. I usually
okay,
do like hour episodes. So
okay.
yeah, no,
I won't get into that then. I won't get into that then if you want.
no, you
Uh,
can please do.
okay, but I mean, I had the owl sons come to the house. I mean, they were loud. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was like they didn't care. You know what I mean? I heard them. There are. I mean, this is like this neighborhood here. You would never expect. There's all woods around us, though. None of the homes have fences either. Everything is free range. And there's a farm down here with a bunch of cows and a lake and stuff. And I heard the owl sounds, man, and they're loud, man, like they don't care. And then I hear like whoop sounds too. That's the first time I ever heard whoop sounds. And then it sounded like they were going down into the valley down. My house is up here. I'm on the second floor now. It's like I could see down into that valley. You could hear the noises going down there, and that was something. And then I told you about the three birds. Remember the three birds? Like
Yep.
one day, I have an injured bird hits my door, and so I tried to put it back to life, and kept it, but it died. The next day, I feed the birds here too. I feed the birds, and then they go out by the garage, and I lift the door up, and there's another injured bird there. And then
Interesting.
the third day, there was an injured crow. I'm in the by my tomatoes out front here, and there's a woman next door and she's in the garden, and there's a crow like going around like his wing is hurt, and he's going around, He went all the way down, and he's right behind the woman. She doesn't even like act like she sees it. And then he comes up into my driveway, and I said, this is crazy. I got to get my camera. So I go run in the house, come out, it's gone. So I don't know what happened to it. That was the three birds.
So, all right. So for the folks at home, in case you didn't catch that, they basically followed you home. These instances of the owl sounds and the whoop sounds didn't happen till after you had your encounter.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I've been followed home as well. So they came as soon as when I got the one on camera, um, um, they came and were banging on our camper in our side yard, and then I
Oh my
heard a
gosh,
growl.
man, that's
Oh yeah.
crazy. Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, my girl went out there
Oh
because
my
she was
gosh, man.
yeah, I wasn't home with the banging on the camper. So my girl went out there with a gun, and then they quieted down. But then it happened a second time, and so I went out there, and I'm like, all right, guys, quit banging. And I just spoke to them because I've
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
so
yeah.
many different encounters. I just spoke to them. I said, hey guys, stop banging on the campers. Um, don't bang on the house and don't jump on the roof because my house is so old. It's such a small old house. I'm like, I don't want you guys,
Oh my gosh, that's
and
crazy, man.
I just
Wow.
spent a ton of money. My dad had lived there. He passed away, and I spent a ton of money renovating the house. So you know what happened? Like the next night after I did that, my window was cracked open, and I heard like a lion, or like a tiger, outside of my window, like this growl purr, and it was huge sound. And I
Oh
just
my
said,
gosh, man.
yeah, I just said, I hear you. And then it wasn't long after that that I had the mind speak where they spoke to me. I was coming out of
Yeah.
my back door. I don't know if you heard that story. They mind spoke to me. They basically said, thanks for friendship. My name is Scout, and we'd like to be called forest people rather than Bigfoot. So I had that interaction there, and
Wow.
there's been more. So, but what's interesting is the night before I came to South Carolina, I've from I have a location not far from me where there's a whole Sasquatch clan at. Well, they've had the samurai chatter, that all these recording the howls. I've heard the samurai chatter personally out there. Well,
Wow. Wow.
we got some of their owl sounds on
Yeah,
record.
yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, it was so neat to hear your story about the owl. So basically, the different owl sounds, like you said, they didn't care. The whoop sounds, they followed you home, brother. How do you feel about that? What do you? So are you getting a scary feeling off of these things? Like they're saying, "Hey, stay away from us," and we'll harass you if you don't.
I have two ways of thinking, and when I got zapped, I told you a story about a zap. I didn't finish the other story, but I got zapped by the quartz rocks. I got zapped, and
What do you
I
mean,
thought
Zap?
then they
I'm
would.
just clarifying so the people at
Okay,
home can understand.
okay, okay. So I went to that quartz area that I showed you there, and there's an X there. There's with the trees. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
CDX.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. That's a definite. That's a definite there. And so I was looking. There was a lot of quartz like usual, and if it's gone, it'll be replaced the next day. It's crazy. So uh, the apple that I had there, that apple was gone. It was a green apple I put up there in the V. It was gone. And then I had one of those lozenger things, Recolets or whatever.
Yeah,
the things for your
Ricola.
throat.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Ricola.
Okay, they wrap those in tight, like, you know what I mean? Now that wrapper's laying there and it looks like the thing is still in there, right? So I go to pick it up and it's empty. And I was like, how the heck did they get the candy out of there if the thing is still closed? That was kind of weird. And then I looked and I said, you know what? I don't trust it because the other day that my phone died and then my camera died. So I took a radio with me. I have a GMRS license too with the ham license. So I had that
Nice.
radio as backup. So I said, let me make sure that this thing works. I just went through all of this crazy stuff. So I keyed that mic and I just asked for a radio check. I wasn't getting anything. Nobody was talking back to me. So I stopped. And then I went down and picked up, as soon as I touched that quartz, I got the worst headache you can imagine, man. Like real quick, I got super dizzy. All of a sudden, like cloudy mind. I actually did not know for like a few seconds. I didn't know where I was. I had no idea where I was at. And that was scary. And I know the trail was there. And then I got a little glimpse of, I need to go down that trail. So that's when I got out of there. And I never came back. I haven't been back in a year about it. It's going to be a year, like, I don't know when it was. And that's the other thing. I don't know what day that was. Isn't that weird? I can't remember what day it was at
Okay,
all.
so you
I
got
have no
zapped. Now,
idea why. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. No, for the folks at home, being zapped, there's there's different definitions, there's different circumstances when you get zapped, whether it be the infrasound or something that they're capable of doing. So Ed gets dizzy. I have another eyewitness who wanted to lay down and go
Oh
to sleep.
wow. Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh.
Oh yeah. This guy, Val Savala, had a full-on sighting. Was able to get a picture off of one in a tree. He collects a lot of data information here in Michigan. And Val said, "Man, it's almost like they got zapped and they almost wanted to lay down and go to sleep." So
Oh
there's
my
that.
gosh.
So we got you dizzy, headache. You've also felt a choked feeling.
Yeah.
Val felt like he wanted to lay down and go to sleep. Another guy, Matt Sexton, he's throwing up. His whole body's just kind of a little bit shaking, convulsing type of deal. So they are able to affect us with infrasound in different ways. And that's historical. If you go back to the big bells, and I'm studying more about this right now, like
Yeah, man.
sounds
Yeah.
and bells,
Yeah.
ancient bells, and how they affect us, healing properties of different frequencies, all of that. There's so much more. We're starting to learn a lot of the ancient knowledge and all of this. So I love digging deep, Ed, because
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I know when you're on the NCI show, we're always having fun there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. 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 You're that way too, man. It's you got to have a
yeah.
good sense of humor. You're not going to be able to sleep at night, man.
Right, right.
It's crazy, man.
So I was thankful that you were patient with us on that show. So I'm like, all right, so now I got to let Ed say everything he wants to say. I got to make sure we dig a little bit deeper. So
Oh,
that's the
okay.
whole purpose of your episode right now. I
I
want you to be
I
able
could
to
blow
say
your
everything
mind.
you want to say.
I could blow your mind right now with something that I got
Let's hear it, brother.
that just
That's what
happened.
this is
It just
about.
happened yesterday. It happened yesterday. Like
Okay, give it
okay,
to
I'll
us.
do it real quick because I my wife says I talk too long. But
Oh, you're
my
good.
okay, this is how I started getting into my rock structure stuff. There's a little park by my house. It had a pile of rocks, really cool round rocks. I took them home. I started having these weird dreams, and this is the face I saw. I drew this picture. This picture. This is the face I saw, like this, like a native person, but no feather, it's just a hair going up like this, right? So I looked
Yeah.
this up the next day, and it did match up with something that from the I don't know if it's the what's the tribe here, not the Delaware Indians. There's um, the Ramapo. I forget what it are. There's a tribe, and their hair is like that. So
Wow.
so I immediately took the rocks down there and put them back. But I had never
Oh,
forgot that. But then after that, had this thing to take pictures and record all these things. I was starting to find stuff, and I'm not interested really in the arrowhead things, even though I found all that stuff. I'm more into the ceremonial places, the chambers. Like the Northeast is loaded. That's another rabbit hole you go down there. But anyway, this is the thing. Um, I also I'll do this real quick too. I had an accident where I worked because I had a job and I was working midnights and I wasn't used to I would fall asleep. So I was driving home on this highway 280 and I fell asleep going fast and I woke up heading towards a guardrail and I hit the brakes. I crashed into the thing into the wall and it bounced across the whole highway. All it hit was somebody else's tail light. God was with me that day. I was aimed the other way. I was able to get out of the car and just step out. I mean, the guy that looked at the car, he said that's the worst bent frame he had ever seen. He thought I was whoever was driving it was dead or something, you know. But
Wow.
anyway, about 2 weeks later, I have a dream because I never remembered the airbags. Right, I had the dream, and all of a sudden I saw the airbags, and I said, "Oh, okay, I must have been like because I was sleeping. I saw the airbags, right?"
Right.
So yesterday I went to a couple places and I have to face my fears. So I go to my daughter's land sometimes because that's right by the land over there too. And I went to this other place that I thought I heard a knock and I didn't go in there because I was last year I was scared of my own shadow last year. Until I met you guys, I haven't been coming out of this stuff. That's why I know it's so important that I say this stuff because you need to get it out.
Definitely.
So I was there yesterday. I went up there and I walked, and the place where I thought it looked different this time. I don't know because the leaves are off the trees. And I came back, and sure enough, there was an X there, and I took a picture of it, and I don't know if you ever noticed. I don't think anyone's ever done it before, but I started doing it where wherever the X's are, I take an alignment, and a lot of them are set up north to south, and then
Okay.
the points are going to the solstices lineups.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so that's something I've seen, and so this had a winter solstice alignment perfectly right in the middle of it, coming down. So I didn't think nothing of it. Nothing happened. So I was glad that I got in there, went about a mile in and a mile back because I got to do this. I got to get over this. So I had a dream last night, and this is what I saw, man. I have no idea what this is. I have no one. I don't. Maybe I shouldn't even show you this, but where
I
the
want
heck
to
is it?
see it. Let's do it. Let's do
Okay.
it, brother.
All right.
I'm with you
So,
all the way.
but this is what I'm thinking, and this is why I thought. Remember, I told you I couldn't see its face, right?
Hmm.
All of a sudden, there's this. I'm dreaming, and I could see it clear, man. It was a figure there, and it was green with brown, but it had a ash gray head, and it had the face, but it was lines. I don't know if you could see that face, man. Let me see. See that
Yep, there you go.
face? And
Yep.
it had a like a suit, like I don't know what kind of. It was brown with green, but that
Okay.
face. And then I had this thing saying that could be the face, but I couldn't see it. Just like when I had that injury, when I crashed, it came, and you know what I mean? I don't know if that was it or not. I mean, it was just weird that it was the lines, and then I don't know how I drew it too, because I don't know how I drew that. Just I kept doing it over and over this morning to try to get that face. Let me see.
Good stuff, Ed.
Can you see it?
Yep, yep, you're right there, right there.
See that?
That is very
That's crazy,
Patterson
right?
Gimlin. Yeah, that is very Patterson Gimlin. I should know this stuff by now, but they call that type one or whatever, the Patty type. Yeah, don't feel bad about any of this stuff. Something I want to throw at you too, which might help your journey is we have an account here in Michigan where I now believe that the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch forest people, they live anywhere between 50 to 300, maybe even 500 years of age. Okay. So, with that said, they have a huge connection to the past. I know, for instance, whenever I go to the town that I grew up in, Birmingham, Michigan, I always want to drive by my elementary school. There's a particular tree I always want to drive by. That was the tree I saw on the way home from school. So in my thought process, because I get a little bit deep with this stuff, I think that, okay, if these Sasquatch have been around for anywhere between 50 and 500 years, they have had a huge connection to the Native American civilizations. So you talk about X's, you talk about, the directions that they're pointing. I believe, yes, all that plays into effect. That's their ancient history, that's their ancient knowledge. I believe if they migrate from, say, point A to point B, there are places along the way, like in elementary school, so to speak, or
Yep.
a certain tree
You're
that
right.
are landmarkers and are,
I
they have
know
a
you're
personal
right,
connection
man.
to.
You are hitting it on the nose. When I was going up with I went on almost every mountain in North Jersey, man. You could put me in those woods, I'll know where I'm at. You could just drop me off blindfolded because every one of those rock structures and everything, you won't forget. They're like street signs. And I think they use those things. And the same thing with the tie down trees and all this other stuff. And that's what you're right. Everything is a marker, man. And
Exactly.
somebody's replacing this stuff, and somebody's doing it. If it's not like the native people, somebody's doing it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know they
and
are.
then yep, and then I'm going to deal with this one other aspect, and this will kind of elaborate on what we're already talking about. Um, that is why, at least in my area, Matthew Sexton, Aaron Spencer, Chippewa Indian, the petroglyphs by my house.
Oh yeah,
These are
man. There you go.
These are locations where
Yep.
there are possible portal areas because
Yep.
these areas, nobody's going to disturb. The Sasquatch aren't going to portal in 50 years later and there's going to be a subdivision built there and they're going
Oh
to end up in
yeah.
somebody's
Yeah.
living room,
Yep.
so to speak.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yep.
they know that if they portal in, that this is still the petroglyphs. They are
Oh yeah. Yeah.
state lands protected by the government, so the Sasquatch know that they're going to remain there. Now, also, the H.A. Miller document, which was a professor who did a government study, he pointed out the fact that, yes, the government knows a lot more than they tell us, and that some of these national forest parks that have been set aside as buffer zones between us and the Sasquatch as well. They
Wow.
are,
Wow.
they are,
Wow.
yes,
That makes
they are
sense, man.
areas.
I
That's
agree
right. They
with
are.
you, man. You're blowing my mind, man. Like, these are all things I was thinking. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Yeah.
Yep, yep. They're
Oh my
buffer
gosh,
zones and
man.
area. Not so we can just go out and enjoy nature. No, they're buffer zones. So the
Oh
Sasquatch
yeah,
have
yeah.
places to go
Oh
and
yeah,
they don't
yeah.
interact with, our everyday lives as humans. So, man, Ed, with that said,
Yeah, okay.
is there anything else you'd like to say?
I just want to let everybody know out there that you guys are awesome. And I really appreciate it because there's so many other people that are silent and they're scared to death. They don't even want to tell because they think you're crazy. And you can't tell anybody. You go to church. I'm a Christian. I go to church, and I can't blame them
Amen.
because I wouldn't believe me either, man. If I told half the stuff I talk tonight, they're not going to. Would they talk to me again? You know what I mean? It's
Right.
crazy. I mean, I have my devotions. I have all my stuff, but I believe that people like you, and if these things happen to us, we know what the armor of God is. We know this stuff. We haven't talked about that. I believe in it. That I've been protected. That when I was going out there and I was protected, and now somehow I should have. Probably maybe I shouldn't have put those apples out there or whatever it was, and maybe when I picked that radio up, he was defending one of his young ones. And so I can't hold, I don't hold it against them because um, if they could have killed me any time, I was going all through there. And maybe that was a warning when I would go to these other places that I'd feel that choking feeling. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. But I know that I was there by myself. And I've been in places up there where I've seen some crazy stuff, but nothing ever happened to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know.
Good stuff, Ed. Good stuff.
Okay.
Where can people follow you? Are you on Facebook or any of the social media
Yeah, I'm
platforms?
on Facebook. I have something that's just called where I take all my pictures and I just put them on there. It's no, I probably got 20 people on there or something, me
Well,
and my
I need.
buddy. It's Rock Doctor, capital ROCK, and then space, capital DR. And I allow anybody on there if they want to look at the stuff. But I put other things. I'm putting a lot of other things on there, and it's just, if you want to see some crazy, like where the petroglyphs are here and crazy alignments and with other people, there's a lot of other people doing a lot of things with these sites. There's a lot of like the magnetic fields. in these the mounds and some of these megalithic things. This guy John Burke, I don't know if you ever heard of him. He he came up with that these things were built because the germination of the seeds. They could only plant the seeds and grow things for 3 years, and then they'd have to move. But if they put these megalithic sites, they're like amplifiers of that of the magnetic field of the Earth, and it actually there's something that happens at early in the morning, the dawn. Those magnetic lines of force, the solar wind affects the magnetic field, and we get a surge every morning from at around the same time. That's why people say, why I wake up at 3 o'clock, or why do I start praying at 3 o'clock, or whatever. There's something that happens right around that time, with the magnetic field. And so and that's a good thing, because they used to put their seeds. There's people in South America that still put their seeds up on those places, so they'll germinate. They'll last. You'll get 90% yield instead of a 30 or a 40% yield on those. And that's a crazy
Wow.
thing too, you know?
Wow. Awesome. Ed, hey, if you're not part of our private group, the Bigfoots of Michigan, Bigfoots of America podcast show on Facebook, I want you to become part of that, because I want you to be able to promote yourself and share your stuff freely. There's me and a handful of other moderators, and we're very stringent. We don't let anybody make fun of you, or if you post anything, we keep a tight lid on the thing. So I want you, if you're not already, to become part of that private group on Facebook. And I want to be able to promote you more too, is actually what I'm saying. But with that said, Ed Whelan, hey, everybody at home, now you know why I was so excited to get this guy on the Bigfoots of America podcast show. Hey, Ed, I'm going to go ahead, put you backstage, stay right where you're at, and I'll be here
Okay.
in a minute, okay?
Okay.
All right, everybody, episode 45, Ed Whelan. This is to open your eyes at home. This is for you at home, to let you know that it's okay. You did see something. We do believe you. This is a platform to get the word out, to get the truth out. You are not crazy. Like I always said, when you listen to Ed, this is what I'm talking about. I've had a fairy sighting. I didn't believe in fairies before I saw a fairy sighting. So this has caused me to be more open-minded. And now that you've heard Ed speak, you can say, okay, we've got some more data. We've got another eyewitness. We've got some more proof, more stories about what's going on out there in the paranormal cryptid world, especially dealing with Sasquatch. So everybody at home, thanks for tuning in. And as always, stay tuned for more of the Bigfoots of America podcast show.